My guest today is Gwyn Williams, Zenthai Shiatsu master.
Oh, let's say learner.
Learner, because we are all learning, aren't we?
All the time.
Yeah. And so today we had a fantastic conversation, and we talked about that abundance is not always a good thing, and how we need to stop and listen and be still. Yeah.
Take a big inhale.
Yeah.
And a big exhale.
Gwyn, how can people find out about your work?
Yeah, my work most easily would be found through the website on www.zenthaishiatsu.com.
Great.
Yeah.
Stay with us right through to the end. I'm Robin Cook. This is Stories from the Red Couch. I know you'll love it. Zenthai Shiatsu. It's a real amalgamation, isn't it, Gwyn? Tell me about it. Tell me what your thoughts are behind bringing those words together.
Well, let's say when Zenthai Shiatsu came together, it was a bodywork practice, and so we'll talk about the superficial layer of Shiatsu, which was Zen Shiatsu, my foundation into bodywork and Chinese medicine. Zen Shiatsu, it's acupuncture without needles.
Yes.
I studied that for 2 years in the 90s in Queensland, and then started mixing with a lot of Thai massage and then osteopaths. So I suppose I was bringing osteopathy, Thai massage, Zen Shiatsu together as this hybrid form. What I've noticed though is, especially over the last 5 years, is the Zen really is where it's at.
Yeah.
It's not so much this superficial layer of different modalities now. It's what happens in relationship when we get all our stories out of the way, when we stop thinking, when we can come into this primordial state where we're just really present, really clear, really there for each other, really listening, and letting those separation doors dissolve. So this Zen aspect has really become the flavour of getting our mind and our thoughts out of the way and let something far greater step in.
So that's when we think about different modalities, and they have that name and that label, don't they? And there's a strictness. There can be a strictness around how to practice that.
Sure.
Was there much angst or anxiety from people who were solid practitioners of a particular?
I think when you move out of tradition, which I have, you're always going to have obstacles.
Yes.
I mean, it's traditional Thai massage. It's just the tradition of Shiatsu. Osteopathic is an allopathic practice, and I only explore their techniques. But all people that are in those areas will have some fixed opinions about it. Great. I respect it. I actually respect the traditions as well, and I really, I bow down to the tradition of Zen Shiatsu and traditional Thai massage, and I always honour the sacredness behind them. I honour the great depth that's come through me from osteopathy and their teachers.
Because without that, you can't arrive at this place.
No, but how do we evolve?
Where you can embrace all of those things.
Like I sat down and really went, what is this for me? Yeah, I'm a person that likes doing things like that, and I encourage my students to take my work and weave into what they are and who they are and other things that they do. That was just me. I'm so happy about you doing it. When you make decisions like that, which are big decisions, you're going to have people that love you for it and then people that curse you for it. So I was okay. Bruce Lee, he was my mentor.
Yeah, how fabulous.
And he created, he brought the martial arts movement alive.
He really did, didn't he? Yeah, so he made some changes in some fundamental areas.
The Chinese underground wanted to kill him.
Not so nice.
So you're going to have that, but I'm okay with it. I feel, I know for me, I feel like I bring the heart of the work to the practice, which is this clarity, this presence, this no ego-ness, which is the sacredness of the work is really alive.
I've had the good fortune of having some sessions with some of your students.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, just before Christmas, and I had a hip injury, and I came along and I worked with one of the students, and I really, I just loved the attention and the intention that she had when she was working on, on that hip area, and was quite astounded, really quite astounded with how good it felt afterwards. How long is a training? I mean, how long would that student have been training with you for to get to that point?
So most people that come with me and do festivals like Woodford would have done a 9-month, which is more like a 12 months training with me, and I usually ask them to go out and get their hands on bodies. I said, go get some kilometres underneath your hands for another 12 months after that.
Okay.
And so basically when they come to this practice of in the store at Woodford, they've got a really good basis of an allopathic understanding, of how the structural body works, sacroiliac joints, and in your case, how the hip fits into the socket, how the femur fits into the acetabulum, and they've got a great knowledge of Chinese medicine as well, which is emotional body and meridians and how they play. But underneath that, the big one that I keep bringing home is be present. If you're going to develop anything, develop your listening skills. Develop the way that you're listening to the body, because you on a different day will be different than you were yesterday. So if you can really, really listen and act from that acute listening in the most appropriate way, then you're in a potent conversation with them. Then we get results.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the big killer.
Yeah. When you started in this, you did Chinese medicine, didn't you? Yeah.
Well,
how was that when you started? Because I'm curious. I love looking at a journey that a person takes over time, from that first embrace of something new and how you were then to how you are now.
Yeah, even before I jumped into bodywork, even in my mid, even early teens, I was into martial arts. I was into martial arts. And then as I got older, the philosophy of martial arts, the yin and yang became. I got books about Bruce Lee and these elements and how yin and yang work with each other. So, in my mid-20s, late 20s, when this art form came up, healing art form that at the core was about yin yang, I went, wow, it had me. It was the energetic body really coming in to reclaim your vitality. That was my cry in my first years. To be like that child, even with your vital and your buoyancy, even as we get older. And if you can really enhance this energetic field and bring it back into balance, how we can do that. So that's what got me caught. That was the big vacuum or magnetic field that got me in. And it just evolved from there. It was a little bit stationary, the Zen Shiatsu, to tell me the truth. It was, if you've done yoga, it was like an Iyengar yoga practice. It's very strong and foundation practice, really clear, white socks, white uniform, great foundation. But my body loves to dance a bit more. I've got this movement, I've got a bit of monkey in me. So when Thai massage came on, which they call a sacred dance, and it came into me about 3 or 4 years later, I went, whoa, this is what I love to do. And then this, I was hanging out with an osteopath for 10 years with the structural body and the way we can move the blood inside the joints and the tendons and the ligaments and the capsules, and feeling the whole structural body came alive. I got intrigued again. So these were the three that wrapped all around me for a long time, and I'm still fascinated by it. I'm still, I've been, studying with Chinese medicine again this year. It's never ending. It's a never ending conversation.
Sure. You did marathon running for a while,
and
you were talking about at that point where you have to stop because of what you can physically do.
Yeah.
How much longer do you think you did that before you really?
Yeah, it's probably tipping. People that know me know I like to play the edge.
Yes.
I suppose there is the plus and minus around playing the edge. When you get to places that you never would have gone.
Yeah.
I've done that with my life the whole time, especially in physical pursuits. The second, the backside of it is that you might get injuries and you might break down and you might even do damage to relationships. So those sorts of things were starting to happen. I was starting to, my legs, I was getting thinner and thinner, I was getting stiffer and stiffer. My relationship with my wife wasn't so solid. I was obsessed with physicality and winning races, and I was doing well, I was making money out of running.
Okay.
So the ego was maybe holding the ship a little bit, but I was then teaching Chinese medicine, talking about balance. And I got to start practicing what I'm preaching.
But that's right too. And so, we're surrounded by sayings.
That's right.
and stories, and they're all designed to help us to become aware of different things and to learn and to grow. What point do you think we go from having a saying like step by step or letting go, that kind of thing, where it goes from a saying to a doing, where we actually resonate with it?
Yep.
What happens there?
I think we have to just be really mindful of this path. We can be all full up with the juicy stories, but where's the action? Where's the action? And Dan Millman was a real great mentor for me in my 20s and 30s. He was the Reader's Digest of spirituality, he calls himself, but he was big on putting the action into behind to what you're saying. And the thing is, I haven't got any real solution to that. I think that the quality of our life is dictated by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. So these questions that you're asking yourself now are powerful questions that have to come up, because one day you might be on the horse and I'm putting to practice, and the next month you're not. So I would say, are you being what you realise? You realise that, but are you being that? And just checking in on that all the time and giving yourselves that, you don't have to be this astute disciplinarian, but let's put the practice into action. In the reality, the bigger reality, the only way this Earth's going to actually survive, if we all start practicing what we now realise of this mass consumption that's going on.
Because we get caught up in that, don't we? We get caught up in the drive to make money, the drive to have the latest this and the latest that.
The full yang. Accumulation, usually it's about accumulating, control and security. These are the ones that drive us, but I always question, do they really serve us? I don't think they really serve us. I think if we look at our values, it's not accumulating things, having security, which nothing's really secure anyway, and having control aren't really what we value. I would say being free is what we value. That means usually having nothing.
Yes, that's right.
Serving and loving people is what we value. So that's like not having control. It's actually letting something else have control and something move through you. So and security, I don't think that's what's really our value. I think what we really value is the space to be spontaneously move. And
I find that that security and control, for me personally, to be anxiety inducing, because you can't be in control. There's nothing within your control.
Exactly.
And that drive to be in control, for me, has produced quite profound anxiety attacks. And letting go of that is very liberating.
Well, you can't control anything that's egoic consciousness, because the ego wants to live in the past. We've got no control, it's all done. The ego wants to live in the future. We've got no idea what's happening. The ego is very frightened in the present. It doesn't it's not really, because it hasn't got control there. But if you can really understand that and see that, you go, well, okay, what about if I'm just really do have a sense of peace of just sitting in this groundedness, in this complete insecurity of what's happening right now, and practice that.
So how would you do that? Wake up in the morning?
I think there's a few things that can really help us do it. I think one thing is to practice stillness. To sit and meditate, watch. You don't have to stop the mind, but watch the mind. The mind is trained to think. But
it does. It's like it's like a waterfall or a rushing current for me. It's just one thing after another.
And that's okay. And the lungs are trained to breathe. So you can't stop that, but you can, if you meditate, can step back and you can watch
it happen.
You can watch it. Okay, it's doing its thing again, and then maybe change your attention into maybe the breath or the lower part of the breath, and then for a moment the mind starts to have some space, and that I think meditation is a great space, because you realise there's something greater than than thinking moving around you. So that's and stillness, stop, stop, be still. And again, we're moving against conditioning again here, because we are driven to strive and succeed and get places, and we can stop when we're 65.
That's right. But you won't get a pension.
No. But it's neurotic, isn't it?
Yeah,
can we stop now and just in this moment now and just inhale, wow, gratitude, wow, what's happening? It's really...
That's and gratitude when you say that, because in you've published a couple of books, and with the latest one, Connection to Source, these are all stories. And I remember you saying when you first brought this out, and suggested that people just open it randomly and see what that is. And so this morning I did that. And I came to awesomeness, and I love this. It's about 5-year-old Rafi, and what I loved about it, maybe just give us a little brief synopsis of what it is, so that people know what I'm about to talk about.
The book or the story?
No, Rafi.
Oh, Rafi's he's a young Indian boy that comes over from India, and he's giving the full spectrum of American culture. He even got fed, on a plate of food for free, and then moved through a free education system and university and all these things that he had no idea back in India, and his parents go, what? You just don't get these opportunities where we come from. So everything was just, wow, look at this life. Found his, high school sweetheart and married her, great stable job. All we could call the white picket fence was happening.
Yeah.
and then in one week the whole rug got pulled out underneath him. His wife left him, said she didn't love him anymore. His best mate
died.
Committed suicide, depression, and the job said to him, we've got too many people, see you later. In 1 week, so wow.
Yeah.
So how did he pull himself back in?
Yes.
Circumstance was really, if you like, in its darkest state. So he just basically changed perspective and started looking things still in his life, like dry underpants, and that he could walk and that he could breathe, and that he was going to the checkout line in the supermarket and getting served first, and all these little small things.
That's right.
He went, wow.
Yeah,
it is
that's awesome.
You changed his attitude.
And I think that's what... I mean, that's been my experience.
Exactly.
in the tragedy that befalls us all. To find those little pieces really helps to pull us through, doesn't it?
Yeah. For sure.
And so in a book like this, which is very beautiful, there's lots of opportunities in there. What's one of your favourite sayings? Have you got a favourite saying?
I've got lots actually. I like the one that I say, and it goes back to what we're just sharing now. As you are, as it is. Yeah. Because it is as we are, as it is. It's not as it says. How do we create this fabric? What do you want to focus your lens on? The Thich Nhat Hanh saying, which is on the back of my work, is when we touch something with deep awareness, we are touching everything. So even though it might be a hand on a hand, but there's something, we're touching everything here when it's done with an awareness. These are definitely beautiful sayings for me. This gratitude is, which we spoke about earlier, creates great flow. How do we foster gratitude? To me, gratitude is a really great tool, because it actually, it makes you really present for what's happening now, and then it'll create an abundance for what happens next. So how do we keep us saying thank you to things? Stop, be still. I keep saying that to me because I'm a very active person.
Yeah, so we don't ever get to the end of that, do we?
No.
It's just a continual.
Keep reminding yourself. You go, okay, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
Be still.
Yeah.
Breathe. No, I just always say that the simple things, the small, simple things in life are the most powerful. And just put our attention onto that, and then it can be the simple that you're not using plastics in supermarkets anymore. Imagine if everyone went into that small, simple conversation. Thank you. There's a massive change that could happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then, like I said, Luca, with all this abundance around us, for us to be grateful can sometimes be challenging, in Western society. So
that's right.
This abundance can be our friend, it can be our foe. because we never get a chance to really say thank you because you'd expect it. It's like the sharp rock. I say the sharp rock, we can use it to, we get the sharp rock, we pick it off the ground, and it cuts something for us. It cuts the string. Okay, it's done the job. We put the rock on the ground, and then we step on it.
It hurts.
So yeah, it's the same. And abundance can be the same. It can create a lot of opportunity, but if we don't see it, it can make us very ungrateful. It can make us very empathetic. Apathetic. It can make us very. It can make you depressed. Because you're not really seeing the blue sky. So yeah, it's pretty important to say thank you.
It is.
They say if we did one prayer,
yes,
a thank you would be enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for joining me. It was fabulous to talk to you.
Likewise.
Where can people find your books and find more of your work? How can they do that?
I think the best bet for me is just through the website, the www.Zenthai Shiatsu website, and the books which I've collaborated with your beautiful husband, which has been a great way to share my message out into the bigger marketplace. They speak what I'm doing really loudly, and they're done beautifully. Thanks to your husband. He's been amazing with it.
All right. My guest today is Gwyn Williams. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
What's her name?